Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Howson, and this is tactical preview of how Manchester United can beat Leicester City. Really interesting preview, this one, because Leicester have been all over the show, and we're going to get into exactly how right now. So they've had a bit of a shaky start to the season. They haven't really been anywhere near as impressive they have been the last couple of seasons, but it is early days yet in the season. Their form is pretty poor. 3 losses, 2 draws, 2 wins. They failed to win both of their games in Europe. They drew versus Napoli, and they also had a loss versus Legia Warsaw. And they're currently 13th in the Premier League, about 6 points off top 4 as it stands. Although they haven't started well, it can be because of how tight the league is currently at the moment. Worryingly, United have failed to beat Leicester in their last 3 attempts, and that includes the FA Cup, the Premier League at home, and a draw in the Premier League away. However, we are undefeated in our last 29 away matches. Avoiding defeat tomorrow means that we're going to take it to 30 and set a new record with that. Let's look at how Leicester are going to line up then. This is where it's interesting for me because they've fluctuated between a number of formations this season. 4-2-3-1, a bit of an old faithful there. 3-1-4-2, 4-4-2, and also 4-3-3. Which suggests that the problems that Brendan Rodgers facing aren't maybe individual mistakes. They aren't maybe something that he felt didn't go quite right, but he knows why. The constant changing of formation and the constant changing of the personnel within those formations tells you that he is looking for an answer. He doesn't actually know what he's looking to fix there. So it's very interesting. The speculation about him being one of the favourites for the Newcastle job might not do him any favours when it comes to his selection for this weekend either. His preferred system is usually the 4-2-3-1, and that shape is built on the foundation of the midfields of Youri Tielemans and Wilfred Ndidi. Again, imagine if that was United's first choice 2 in midfield. United come up against so many midfields that are just simply better than ours, and it's embarrassing. And it's the perfect combination of silk and steel. They've got a ball-winning midfielder paired with an energetic box-to-box midfielder that's got excellent technique, who can dictate tempo from deep. And it's another midfield pairing, again, like I said, that just beats ours. But the fact that Ndidi is injured for this game will force Rodgers to adjust, however. And I think Hamza Chowdhury could be who he turns to. And he's every bit as combative and aggressive and steely as Ndidi. So they don't really lose out in toughness. I think they lose out a little bit maybe in ability. But I like Chowdhury. I think he's a good little player. They occasionally transition into a midfield 3, which will include James Maddison being brought back and a little bit deeper than he normally is in his customary number 10 position. But they load up that middle of the pitch quite well. And even though he's fell out of favour due to poor form this season, it could be him that features. The more heavily loaded midfield implies that they're looking to go with a possession-based kind of system that either utilises that double pivot or utilises the midfield as a tight 3 sort of unit. Those 2 deeper, more combative midfielders provide an extra layer of defence for the team at the back that has been struggling defensively. However, because Leicester opted for a 4-4-2 last time out in the league, and they also played this formation against Manchester City in the season, it wouldn't surprise me if they look to attack our defensive frailties with the injuries that we've currently got going at the back and lined up in a 4-4-2, especially with the absence of both of our starting first choice centre-halves. As I said then, Ndidi is going to miss the remainder of the month with a thigh strain that he picked up before the break. Johnny Evans wasn't able to play for Northern Ireland during the break, and I think Brendan will be desperate to have him back. Vestergaard could be on standby for him, so they're not going to miss out massively if that's the case. And James Maddison has been dropped, and I think that's a form thing, and could have to settle for a place on the bench against us. My predicted 11 for Leicester, I think, will be Schmeichel, Pereira, Evans, Soyuncu and Bertrand, which is a solid backline, and a midfield then of Lookman, Chowdhury, Tielemans and Barnes, with Vardy and Iheanacho up front. So 4-4-2, aggressive, and the star man is Jamie Vardy. Of course it's Jamie Vardy. 6 goals and 1 assist in 7 games. Joint top scorer in the league with Mo Salah. Still absolutely devastating, still electrifying pace. Still a massive threat for Manchester United because I expect that we'll have quite a high line. Bailly up against him. If he's sharp, could be a good contest. Otherwise, he'll be absolutely roasting Lindelof. And the other options that are available to us aren't necessarily as good. He's super sharp. He's definitely proactive. He only ever needs half a sniff of something, and he's an absolute constant danger. You've got to be concentrating at all times with him because he is relentless. One of the Premier League greats, Jamie Vardy, I think it's fair to say. If he'd have played for a bigger team than Leicester, they'd have been absolutely wanking himself stupid over him. But because he plays for Leicester, even though he's got a Premier League title to his name, I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. But a hell of a player, and certainly one that, even at this age, we have to watch out for. So let's have a look. How exactly is this Leicester team going to play? Right, under Rodgers, they do like to have the ball, and it's a possession-based style, and they like to dictate play, create chances centrally. They average around 52.4% possession, which is in the top half of the table. Their pass completion percentage of 81.7% shows that they are more than competent when they're in possession. They've conceded 12 goals this season. Only Newcastle, Leeds and Norwich have conceded more than them, which to me gives the opportunity for United to go and actually attack them, and that's where you'll see when I've gone with the 11 I've gone with. Only Arsenal and Norwich have committed more defensive errors, leading to a chance than Leicester City have, which tells me that they are shaky at the back. Yuri Tillman has got the most progressive passes in the league this season with 56, that is. The guy's an absolute maestro. I really like the Ndidi Tillman sort of deep line pivot. I think it's fantastic, and if you just swatch them out for what we've got at United at the moment, United would be very unbeatable, I think. Only Brentford and Tottenham have crossed less than Leicester this season. And even though they've got quick, direct wingers in Lookman and Barnes, they tend to really sort of build up play and look for through balls centrally rather than and going in behind rather than they do crossing from wide areas. So that's something that United needs to be wary of. Pace, moving backwards rather than defending laterally. They like to get in the area. They like to use pullbacks for people that are arriving late into the box, and that's what they're going to do well. So my starting 11 for United then is I'm going with David De Gea in net. Back four of Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Bailly and Lindelof, just simply on options. I think there's an outside chance that Maguire could feature, but I think it is an outside chance. I and ahed over the midfield. I'd like to go with Matic and Pogba and see how it really deals with everything. I think it'll be McTominay and Pogba, both in a bit of a double pivot. Bruno in the hole, Greenwood and Rashford on the wings. And again, I and ahed over Sancho on the right-hand side, but I've opted with Greenwood, knowing that he had the week off, whereas Sancho's been away with England. Marcus Rashford being back is absolutely huge. He will be pivotal for Manchester United, and I'm very excited to see how Ronaldo and Rashford line up. Because Ronaldo's not a line-leading centre-forward, I think he drops off into this sort of left half space here. Because Ronaldo's going to drop into these sort of areas, Rashford's sort of slingshotting ahead of him, looking to penetrate in between the fullback and their right side centre half. He's going to have a lot of joy down there. Otherwise, what you can also get with Rashford is he pulls wide. So he pulls right to the touchline, and you can look for Ronaldo and Shaw underlapping. And if the defence takes the bait of those, you're going to see Rashford drive directly, horizontally across the front of the box and get a shot off himself. Or if they don't take the bait for him and they stand still, you've got a great little through ball that he can play from these areas as well. Rashford's playmaking's hella underrated, really underrated. I think his playmaking's sensational. And I'm not just talking about the pass that he played for Greenwood against Liverpool, which was filthy. I'm talking about his general overall playmaking. But like anybody, you kind of need people that are willing to run off you. Ronaldo will run off you. Shaw runs off him. That's why Marcus is able to play some decent balls from there. But him, the direct nature of Marcus Rashford, the running nature, I think he'll probably end up winning a penalty this weekend for Manchester United, and I don't give a shit who takes it. I think it'll be Ronaldo. But yeah, Marcus Rashford being the back in the team is absolutely huge. We've missed him, and I think people are going to realise just how much we've missed him come tea time on Saturday, I think. Right, so how do United beat this team then? You've got to have defensive protection. The first way to win the game is not to lose the game, and with our first two centre-halves being out, it's a dangerous prospect of facing Vardy and Iheanacho, to be honest. Iheanacho was the danger man last year and proved to be. So you got to offer those guys some protection. So that's why it will be 4-2-3-1 for Manchester United in this game. It could be Matic and McTominay. I've gone with something a little bit more progressive because I think you'll find a lot of space in that midfield. So I went with Pogba and McTominay because I think the pace of McTominay is something that you might need to be able to keep up with what's going to be quite a quick attack. The midfield battle is going to be key. It's going to be huge. I want to see Bruno getting involved in this and getting a little bit deeper because he's going to have more space. So allow people like Greenwood and Rashford to run into that space. And Didi being injured is definitely an equaliser, but Chowdhury's no mug, and Tielemans is absolutely top class. So he's going to start dictating. You need someone that's going to get in and around him. So McTominay for me is that guy, getting in and around him. Chowdhury is aggressive and combative, but he's nowhere near as positionally aware or alert as what you're going to get out of Ndidi, and he's not as good on the ball either. So you can probably, if you went and put Pogba on him, Pogba can probably deal with him. Pogba can probably ghost out of the way of him, and Pogba can certainly physically dominate him as well. Attack could be the best form of defence, and you're going to hear me saying that a lot over these next 6 games. United need to start getting at teams' throats. And yeah, Joe, what? Yeah, we're probably going to concede, but we're going to score fucking 4 while we do it. Rashford return could be the spark of confidence that we need. That's definitely been missing. Unnerve a shaky defence. They're making mistakes. Force them to make more. Run at them. Get amongst them. See if you can draw them into a foul. See what that does. Try and control a game where you can create patterns and waves of attack, because I think this Leicester team, even though they want to dominate the ball, they'll give you opportunities to be on the ball as well, because they're not relentless with their pressing. They're not going to absolutely overwhelm you. They're gonna let you play a little bit of football in this game as well, and they're not going to be as detrimental to your build-up play and your playing through the middle as some of the teams that we've featured against recently. And with our defensive issues and the injuries that we've got coming into the game, I think you're going to need more than 1 goal to win this thing. So just get out there, score an early one, and then try and get a second. Now let's just see where it takes us. But Marcus Rashford being back, absolutely pivotal for United. That's how I think it's going to go. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, how you see the game going, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.